I remember when I used to live in the US and always needing a car everywhere I would go. Since the US is so spread out and so far apart, you really do need a car to live there. But I would always think, isn't this a little weird? Shouldn't there be some sort of good public transportation method? And I never really found this until I came to Europe. So in this video, I'm going to be comparing between the US public transportation and the Norwegian public transportation. The first huge difference I noticed between the two was the cleanliness and the silence. And I really remember this when I first came here to Norway. I went on the public transportation. I think it was the bus, and this blew me away. First of all, everyone was so quiet, so respectful. I didn't even hear one person answer a phone call, which in any other place you would hear people calling. But on the bus, no phone call, nobody was talking. And honestly, I was a little scared to speak because it was so quiet. It literally felt like you were in a spa. And I have not ever seen that in my life. And then another thing I noticed was how respectful everyone is. They're sitting in their own seats, minding their business, reading their book, playing on their phone, looking out the window, which again was incredible for me to see because when I was in the US, I had not seen any of this. In the US, people are screaming sometimes, shouting on their phones, being loud, and you'll see some pretty interesting things going on there, which definitely was a huge contrast for me. I mean, think about it. You go from chaotic, loud public transportation to like a spa, and it's like, it just blows your mind. And that's when I fell in love with this. I was like, okay, this is probably an amazing system that I'll be using more than I'll ever know, which was true. I ended up using it basically now every time I go somewhere because when you have such good transportation, why wouldn't you use it? Of course, it can be improved like everything, but it really is amazing. The next thing was the cleanliness. So upon entering the bus, just as the noise, it was so clean. The seats barely had any wear and tear, not even any rips, barely any crumbs, so clean. The floor was clean, it smelled good, which is another important thing I feel like when you're on a bus or a train. And to compare this to the US, you'll see some crumbs, some dirt, dirty chairs, not on everything, but I feel like on a lot of the methods like trains and buses, you'll definitely see a lot of wear and tear. It might not smell good. And this avoided me from using it in the US. But in Norway, I mean, it's clean for the majority of the time I've been on it. It's quiet. Those two together, what more could you ask for? Seriously. So I think those were two of the first most important things I saw. The next major point I want to discuss is freedom without a car. And this is interesting because in the US, you need a car to live there. Everything is so spread out and far apart that you're very limited if you don't have a car. Yes, you can walk, but that's not ideal. And the public transportation might not get you to every place that you need to be. But in Norway, ever since I came here, it has been the complete opposite. I can literally go almost anywhere with the train and the bus. And it's what most people use, right? It's the common method that a lot of people use because car payments are expensive, gasoline is expensive, and of course, maintenance is very expensive. And society is built for transportation. I feel like it's really not built for cars. It's not built for driving. It's really built for the trains and the buses. And the majority of people take it. It's the norm. So I think it really challenged me to get out of my comfort zone and finally take public transportation. But once I took it here, I was like, oh, now I understand why you guys take it. It makes sense, right? You have such efficient and amazing buses and trains and trams. Why wouldn't you take it? And I think it's great because you don't need a car. A car can be annoying. It can be good and bad, but I feel like, especially in a big European city, it's not necessary because it can be confusing and stressful to drive around. This was definitely very interesting for me to see, was not needing a car because I had never experienced that. I'd always taken a car in the US because also a majority of the people don't take public transportation, right? They all take a car, even for a 5-minute drive to the gym or to the grocery store. So it just kind of made sense to take a car. All right, so the next major difference I'm going to be discussing is one system, less stress. Now, this is a thing I think most places in Europe have adopted, but in Norway, it really stood out to me. And it's the fact that you can buy almost every single public transportation ticket on one app. Whoever thought of that, you are a genius because this has saved me so much stress and it's so easy to use. Like seriously, in the US when I used to live there, I remember you had to go to different apps to buy different tickets and you'd have to sometimes go to the kiosk and it was just a whole mess. I got so stressed and confused sometimes that I was like, oh, I'm just gonna take a car. But in Norway, I've really noticed that it's so easy to use this, right? Like you can basically use it for every public transportation method, and it never crashes. The app is always reliable. I can always buy my ticket easily. It takes me like 5 seconds to buy a ticket, which I love this. You know, this is why I use public transportation so much now, is the simplicity of it, right? You can just order your ticket in 5 seconds and boom, you have it and it works. So another huge point I want to discuss is the safety. Now, this was a huge one for me because when I first came to Norway, I remember taking the train pretty late at night, and wow, I was shocked at how many normal people there were on this train. It was like you're taking in the day, and you know, I was always used to, especially late at night, seeing some interesting things in the US on public transportation. So it definitely surprised me coming here to Norway, where I felt so safe. Like I was like, okay, this is going to be fine. No problem. The people are normal. They're just doing their thing, coming back from wherever they are. And it was just so shocking to see how safe it was. And in general, I've taken public transportation late at night and it's always been safe, right? There's never been any issue where I think someone's weird. Yeah, it's just incredible on how safe it is, because in the US, I would always not really take it too late at night. Honestly, I would stay in my house late at night because I was a little afraid of what could be happening, you know, especially in certain parts, you know, you always fear it. And my guard has like completely dropped here. Of course, you have that little guard as always, you know, anywhere you go. Here, it's like I can just go, no problem, and not worry about it. And you know, you see a lot of people out on the public transportation at night and they're just completely normal going home. And not once have I seen anything weird. Maybe one time. But for the majority of the time, I haven't heard anything weird or seen anything weird. Alright, so the next point I want to discuss is the reliability. Now, this was a huge difference for me because when I was in the US, every time I would take the bus or the train, there would always be some sort of delay. I remember most of the time it was not on time. You know, a few times it was, but I remember a couple significant moments where I really had to make the train and it was delayed by a while, you know, 10, 20, even 30 minutes sometimes. But coming to Norway, I've experienced minimal delays, which I was very surprised about. And I remember that the majority of the times I've been on the train or the bus here, it has been on time. Maybe 2 to 3 minutes late at the max, but still having it on time is incredible and amazing, because then you're not going to be late to the places you have to go to. You'll be on time, you know, you don't have to stress and worry. It was just incredible that they're always on time, you know, because I was never used to that. So when I first experienced that, I was like, it's really going to be on time every single time? Like, wow. Again, there are like 2 to 3 minute delays, but that's not that frequently, and I think it's really, really cool to see that and experience that. So that's also another difference I saw with public transportation, is the on-time reliability. Guys, so for the next point, I've come outside. I just want to show you guys how nice this fall is, because I'm not really used to seasons. It's basically just all sun all the time in California. You guys probably know that because I mentioned that every time, but look how beautiful this is. Super nice. All the trees look amazing. But the next point I want to talk about, next 2 points, is mental health and driver's license. So I feel like when you take public transportation, your mental health is so much better, because you know, you walk to the train station or the bus station, you get to breathe in nice, clean, fresh air, and you're around people. I feel like it's really good to be around people than to be lonely in a car where you got to be paying attention 24/7 and you can't really relax because you're so stressed about not crashing, you know. So I think it's really great to experience going on the train and the bus, because you know, you get out of your comfort zone, you clear your mental health because you can just sit down, listen to music, look out the window, watch the people doing whatever they do. So I think that's a really great, underrated thing about public transportation. As you guys can see now, I am back inside. But continuing on with the second point, the first one was mental health, and now it's driver's license. So upon coming to Norway, I have learned that the price to get a driver's license is ridiculously expensive. I heard 3,000 USD almost, which is 30,000 krone. And that was a shock to me, because in California, the cost to get a driver's license is around maybe $100, $150, which is 2,000 krones. So significantly cheaper. And I think that's another reason why a lot of people don't drive here, is because it's so much to get a driver's license on top of already what you're paying for the car with the gas and maintenance. So I definitely think that's another reason why I prefer public transportation for now, at least, because $3,000 for a driver's license is quite expensive. And I don't know if there's a point to that when you have the bus, the tram, and the train, for now at least. So I just wanted to mention that one because I thought it was really interesting to learn that. If anyone knows why this is so much money? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious to know, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Alright guys, so now for the reflection part of the video. So after being in Norway for a couple months, I really love this public transportation. It's unlike anywhere else I've seen. It's clean, modern, safe, just overall so efficient and easy to use. And I think this has really changed me because I used to not really want to take public transportation because it really wasn't my style in the US. I didn't prefer it. But here, ever since being here, I take it all the time now. And I really have gone out of my comfort zone and tried new things and seen new things. And it's so beautiful to do this. You know, I really feel that I've gone way better mentally and physically because I walk more to the public transportation. I breathe in that amazing Norwegian clean air. Oh my God, it's just the most fresh, beautiful air in this world. I don't know how to explain it. You just have to try yourself. But I really think it's so efficient here. Of course, things can be improved like in any other place in the world. But I think overall, there are so many positives that I'm just so inclined to use as much as I can because it's pretty cheap, a lot cheaper than having a car, I can tell you that for sure. And it's just really efficient, you know. Of course, there's delays and there's all sort of things, but everything can be improved. So I think it's great for what it is right now, and I've really enjoyed taking it, and I'm gonna keep taking it because it's just amazing. That's the video, guys, and thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you subscribe because a lot of you guys aren't subscribed, so it would really help out the channel. Make sure you like, leave a comment, and let me know how the public transportation is in your country or where you live. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, we just got a brand new member, so thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. It means the world to me from the bottom of my heart. That is so kind and so supportive, and shout out to you right here. So thank you so much for joining, and also to everyone watching. You guys have been so supportive and so kind and so welcoming. It's honestly, it makes me feel so special. So thank you so much for all the continued support. That's the video, guys. I'll see you for the next one soon, I guess. Hope you have a great morning, great night, great evening, whenever you're watching this. Thank you so much. It's Nicholas signing off, and we'll see what the next video brings. Thank you.